Brachial plexus. So the plexus which consists of roots, trunks, divisions, cords and branches. So it consists of roots, trunks, divisions, cords and branches. So you can remember it as RTDCB. Then first of all we will talk about the roots. So which is constituted by the anterior primary rami of spinal nerve C5 to C8 and T1. So these are the roots C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1. So constituted by anterior primary rami of C5 to C8 and T1. So the origin of the plexus may shift on one segment either upward or downward, so resulting in a prefix or postfix plexus. So prefix and postfix. So in a prefix plexus, the contribution by C4 is large and that of the T2 is often absent. So contribution of C4 is large and that of T2 is often absent. Then in a postfix plexus, so the contribution of T1 is large and that of T2 is present, while of C4 is absent and C5 reduce in size. So now we will talk about roots and trunks. Supraclavicular part. So roots C5 and C6 join to form upper trunk. So this is upper trunk. Then root C7 form middle trunk and root C8 and T1 join to form lower trunk. So upper trunk, middle trunk and lower trunk. So C5 and C6 join to form upper trunk. C7 form middle one. C8 and T1 form lower. Then divisions of the trunk. So these are retroclavicular part. So each trunk, that is upper, middle and lower, each three in number, divides into a ventral and a dorsal part. So which ultimately supply the anterior and posterior aspect of the limb, and this division join to form a cords. So each trunk divides into ventral division and dorsal division. Then cords and branches. At intraclavicular part, infraclavicular part. So there are the lateral cord, posterior cord and middle cord. So the lateral cord is formed by ventral division of upper and middle trunk. So this is the lateral part which is formed by the ventral divisions of upper and middle trunk. Then the second is medial cord, which is formed by the ventral division of lower trunk. So the second is medial cord, which is formed by the ventral division of lower trunk. And the third is posterior cord, which is formed by the dorsal division of all three trunks. So this is the posterior cord, which is formed by the dorsal division of all three trunks, that is upper, middle and lower trunk. Next we will discuss branches. So the root value of first, branches of the roots. So these are: number 1, nerve to serratus anterior, which has root value C5, C7. Then second is nerve to rhomboids, and the third one is branches to longus colli, and scalene muscle. And branch to phrenic nerve. So these are the branches of the roots. So nerve to serratus anterior, then nerve to rhomboids, and branches to longus colli and scalene muscles. The number 2, branches of the trunks. So first is suprascapular, so the branches of the trunks arise only from the upper trunk, so which give two branches. So first is suprascapular branch and the second is subclavius, nerve to subclavius. So on the upper trunk, so suprascapular nerve and nerve to subclavius. So these are the two branches. Then third, branches of the cords. So first of all, lateral cord. So it gives the number 1 branch to lateral pectoral nerve. Then second is musculocutaneous nerve. And the third one is lateral root of median nerve. So on the lateral cord, so lateral pectoral nerve, musculocutaneous nerve, and lateral root of median nerve, which form the median nerve with medial root of median nerve. Then of medial cord, so first is medial pectoral, then second is medial cutaneous nerve of arm, third is medial cutaneous of forearm, cutaneous nerve of forearm, fourth one is ulnar nerve, and fifth one is medial root of median nerve. So the branches of the medial cord are medial pectoral nerve, medial cutaneous nerve of arm, medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, ulnar nerve, and medial root of median nerve. So number 4, so the branches of posterior cord. So number 1 is upper subscapular. Then number 2 is nerve to latissimus dorsi. And number 3rd is lower scapular, lower subscapular. 4th one axillary, and 5th one radial nerve. So the branches of the posterior cords are upper subscapular, nerve to latissimus dorsi, lower subscapular, axillary nerve, and radial nerve. Then blood supply of brachial plexus. So vertebral artery and thyrocervical trunk with its branches, the suprascapular and the transverse cervical branches. Which supply the blood to the brachial plexus. Then clinical anatomy. So number 1 is Erb's paralysis. So the site of injury. So there is an Erb's point. So this is the region of the upper trunk of the brachial plexus, which is called as Erb's point, where the 6 nerves meet. So upper trunk C5, C6, which is formed. So this is the upper trunk. Then it divides into anterior and posterior division, and it has the branches nerve to subclavius and suprascapular. So these are C5 and C6 roots. This is the part of upper trunk. This is suprascapular. This is nerve to subclavius. These are the anterior division, and this is the posterior division. So this point is called as Erb's point, where all the 6 nerves of the upper trunk meets. So injury to this point is that causes Erb's paralysis. So what are the causes? So causes is undue separation of the head from the shoulder. So which is commonly encountered in the following. So that is birth injury, fall on the shoulder, and during anesthesia. Then the nerve roots which are involved are mainly C5 and partly C6. Then the muscles which are paralyzed, so mainly includes biceps brachii, deltoid, brachialis, brachioradialis, and the muscles which are partly involved, they are supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and supinator. So in the deformity and the position of the limb, so the deformity of the arm, hang by the side, adducted and medially rotated. Then of forearm, extended and pronated. So the deformity is also known as policeman's stiff hand. Or waiter's stiff hand or porter's stiff hand. Then disability. So the following movements are lost. So first is abduction and lateral rotation of the arm at shoulder joint. Then second, flexion and supination of the forearm. Flexion and supination of forearm. Then number third, biceps and supinator jerks are lost. And last, sensations are lost over a small area over the lower part of deltoid. So this is all about Erb's paralysis. Then the second clinical anatomy which we'll discuss is Klumpke's paralysis. So the site of injury is lower trunk or brachial plexus. Then the second causes of injury are undue abduction of the arm, as in clutching something with the hands after a fall from the height, or sometimes in birth injury. Then the nerve roots which are involved are mainly T1 and partly C8. Then the muscles which are paralyzed are, so number first is intrinsic muscles of the hand, and the second are ulnar flexors of wrist and fingers. Then the deformity and position of the hand, so claw hand. Due to the unopposed action of the long flexors and the extensors of the fingers, so the characteristic of the claw hand, so there is hyperextension at the metacarpophalangeal joint, and flexion at the interphalangeal joint. Then the disability which involved, so first is biceps and supinator jerk are lost, same as in Erb's paralysis. Then second, complete claw hand. Third, cutaneous anesthesia and analgesia in a narrow zone along the ulnar border of forearm and hand. So this is all about brachial plexus.